everyone. This is your Professor Mirza, and tonight I have a wonderful guest that I've known for some time, and we have reconnected. Her name is Kanitha, and I think she will do her introduction maybe herself. Kanitha, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Kanitha. I'm 33 years old. I graduated from a master's degree in human resources about 10 years ago. Since then, I've worked in many different HR departments in different industries.
Right.
So today I'm working as an HR manager for Eaton, which is an American group specialized in the management of energy. The business I'm working for is specifically specialized in the test and measurement equipment. It's really specific, but it's the industry. I have like 60 employees in France and in Germany to manage, and well, we basically we develop, we produce, we sell those equipments.
Okay.
So it's the full process of the business.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's really interesting.
It is.
I
Yeah.
manage the HR department on my own. So it's really
Okay.
operational and also strategic because I work directly with the general manager. So yeah,
Wow.
it's really interesting.
Wow. Also, this is quite an honor for probably me as well as my young students who are female. Yeah, young girls, I think when I teach them, generally have this notion that it's going to be a tough market for them. And this is probably going to be another podcast for another day. And I'm going to probably invite you to talk about the glass ceiling effect of women in France, which has been my HR topic for the past 6 years. Every time I give a assignment for the final project, it's the glass ceiling effect of working in large companies for women in France versus the US. And it becomes quite a real topic. So
and it is. I'm passionate about feminism, and I'm passionate about strong women and about showing and even with my daughter, showing that you can be successful in all areas. And I work and I love my work, and I love being the woman. When I started the role in that industry, and even before I was in the oil and gas industry, it's really you mainly have male people there, and
true.
I love being maybe the only woman, looking pretty young. Well, I am young, but I look even younger. Not always a good point, but I love being that looking young, like quite pretty on high heels woman, showing to men that I can bring an added value to their business. That HR is something that can help you in your daily life.
Right.
And yeah, I love that. I'm passionate about that. And I was the only female in my leadership team when I arrived. And we brought so much diversity with the general manager, who was really open-minded. And yeah, I love that.
That's amazing. And this is also a great point for most young people aspiring to come into the business is I think they shouldn't hold back. People will judge you irrespective of your gender or your ethnicity. They will, but you got to prove yourself. And once you do, you'll feel good about it. And you have the right to feel good about it. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Okay, so let's start off with our first question. Kanitha, you're in the hot seat tonight. All right. All questions are related to business students or recent business graduates, such as yourself. You also are a business student. And well, now that you've been in the workforce for so many years, almost a decade, you've accumulated a lot of experience. So
you're making me feel
old? Well, we're all old, but at one point we'll reflect, I can't imagine I'm 41 years old. Sometimes I feel like I'm 25, still eating potato chips, playing video games. And
look at me, I'm drinking vegetable juice that I just made myself. What is that? Where's my Coke?
So I'm eating this right now for the evening. My wife will probably beat me up afterwards. She finds out I'm going to have some waffles and then work on the audio and then maybe play a few video games too. But that's c'est la vie, we progress and everything like that.
Yeah.
If a candidate is from a business background or has business education and is applying for an internship, what are the three main qualities and the three main competencies, if you could add, you look for in them? The three main competencies or qualities.
Is he applying from an internship?
From an internship, yeah.
Or for, okay, from an
From
internship. So he
internship.
had work from an internship before.
Yeah.
Well, spontaneously, the first competency that I'm looking through any resumes today is just the English.
Okay.
And even with younger people, I feel that it's such a shame when you don't have the English, because even though you're going to work in a family, small business, you never know what happens next.
Right.
And it's a requirement.
Okay.
I cannot imagine having someone who doesn't speak English.
Right.
But good for you who's listening now, was talking in English. So my feeling is you're good on that side. From an internship to a first job, well, I would say to point out, a great quality would be to point out what they have learned, not only from a technical point of view, but from being part of a business or being part of a team. To be able to step back and say, I did not just do this and this, not just a
list of things they did, but more like a skill set they've acquired. Okay. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Okay.
And what did they bring to the business? What were their added value?
Okay.
That would be interesting to know, and that's a great quality to show. And I would say commitment. It's also something that we look into for the new generations, because myself, I know that we like to change from a company to another, but you can also evolve in the same company, and it's a quality that is more rare nowadays. So the willingness to grow in the company. Yeah.
Okay, so this is an interesting point you've raised, is to show your commitment and also willingness, which I think a lot of young people are quite impatient. They want to maybe jump the gun, but it takes time to earn that right and also to show it that you're hungry and willing to do so. Okay, are there any specific skills that are highly in demand for business students? Any specific skills that, let's say, for example, if they're hired for a marketing job or a finance job or even HR job, are there specific? You've seen something specific?
Yeah, that would depend on the role, really. But on a young profile, what I would look really into in terms of skills would be transferable skills.
Okay.
Like from their internship or even from seasonal students jobs that they could have had, they could highlight, because you always have transferable skills that you can highlight in your CV. Right. Like you've done babysitting, that means that someone trusted you, so you're someone that we can trust. You've done a regular part-time job,
bartending, waiter services. Okay.
It shows that it shows consistency, that you're responsible. Even if you worked at McDonald's, you committed to a contract and you went to it regularly. It shows teamwork. It could show customer relation. So it's not just only like, I've done this for a month, just to have some money. No, you acquired skills there. Show them and show that you acknowledge that.
Right. It's I've seen American young students do this a lot. At the age of 18, they already have a LinkedIn profile, and they highlight they're working as a server or bartending services or work at McDonald's. They put that in their CV or on LinkedIn. They do that. And I see maybe European students are a little shy in doing that. I said, no, that is your work that you did, which, like you said, is transferable skill. People will know, okay, you were in the industry, you interacted with consumers, managers have trusted you with tasks. Be proud of that. So this is a good thing, right? Okay. All right. Next question. In an interview, during interpersonal interactions, what are the attributes of a candidate that can cause you to reject them after the interview? Interpersonal skills like simple communication.
I have a decade of recruitment Oh wow. Well, the first would be like show off people, arrogance.
Oh, okay.
Um, oh, you have many, and even in the youngest people, when they're young, they're just starting on professional life. So yeah, arrogance or speaking in a too familiar register. Well, that's really basics, but it happens so much. It's amazing. Um, but yeah, also something would be a candidate who wouldn't have had, I would say, studied for the
Well, they didn't read up
interview.
on the company, didn't research the
Yeah,
job. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. But so mostly it's arrogance or being too proud, which you remind me, my interview at, our old company, I wouldn't take the name. What do you call it?
It's fine. It's still
I
fine.
think the reason that they got me in is what they do in the IT industry is they ask you what the program is or the software is in front of you by looking at the code. But in my country, since I come from Pakistan at that time, initially, like around 97, 98, outsourcing of software was very big. And when they would hire students from top universities of engineering, they would be very arrogant. It's like, oh, I'll take 50,000 rupees per month. They're like, okay, okay. They're listening to him. And we had this concept that when you pour Coca-Cola or beer, the foam rises. He said, we have a
Mhm.
way of putting the foam down and their collars down too, because their collars are up and they're like, yeah, I'm the big boss. It's like, okay, so son, you know programming, right? Can you program a tiny calculator or a tiny keyboard software? Say, yes, I can. They turn the computer around and say, do it right now. They're like, oh, I can't do it right now. There's an answer for that too, to humble yourselves. They say, can you program so and so? The answer should be with the right references and the right objectives. I may be able to produce something around in a week's time. And they say, why a week? They said, because I'll need to do documentation and I'll need to consult my team members too. So they'll get up and they shake your hand, say, you're hired. This is what we want to see. You're not arrogant. So
Yeah.
this is a good thing you mentioned, arrogance. And everything everyone should learn about the job, be humble, know that you're also in front of people who have multiple experience over years, so don't be insulting. All right. Next question. How can a candidate create a great first impression? The first impression are the lasting impression.
Well, I would say the opposite. Demonstrating his interest in the business, in the role, asking specific questions relating to the job description or the company, what he read online, the website, the turnover. Yeah, showing that he's really
He,
interested
yeah,
in
so
and already engaged.
they studied about the company, they know about the job, or they have questions in general about the company too.
Yeah,
So,
it's always good to have questions.
okay,
Just
wonderful.
prepare, always prepare a few questions. Have the job description with you, highlight something, put a few questions on the job description, on the company or the department or the people you're going to work with. Be interested.
Right.
Um,
It is also this is what I had an interview previously with an ex-student of mine. He said the exact same thing too. He said people when they don't ask questions about the company or job, there it's a red flag. It's like
yeah,
okay,
you just feel like they don't care or they
uh,
don't project themselves into the service, into the company.
right.
Um, so if you want us to to picture you in the company,
Mhm.
picture yourself in the company, and ask yourself what you're gonna need to know to start. And also, it's linked to what you said before, but honesty, transparency about your capacity, your ability to do what's on the job description.
Right.
And if you feel you're not comfortable with something, just say so.
Right.
We never find, in French we say mouton à cinq pattes.
Mhm.
We know
Like
that we're not going to have a mouton à cinq pattes who can feel all the lines. It's okay to have some lack of knowledge or something you don't know, something you need to learn. Just
right.
say it and
Let's say it right.
and tell us what you need to learn to do. So yeah.
Also because you're joining the company at a very junior stage, we don't expect you to know everything. You will learn. You will learn. Show enthusiasm to learn, and you'll get along. Wonderful. Okay. Next question. Should the candidate negotiate their salary or talk about salary in their interview or initial interviews?
I don't think there's a common rule for that. I'd say it depends on who you're talking to.
Right.
If you're with the HR, you can always ask what's the range. It's fine. If it's the manager, and you're not at all talking about this HR stuff that often managers get bored with, you can feel it. Like you can just say, okay, am I gonna? What's the next step? Am I going to meet with the HR in charge? When are we going to be able to talk about, salary, benefits, logistics stuff? So yeah, it depends on who you're talking to. If it's the HR, it's fine.
It's fine.
That's the HR role is there to talk about this stuff. If it's the line manager, he won't care much.
Okay. And if that company doesn't really have an HR department, like maybe a startup, would it be wise to ask maybe in the second interview, but not in the first, do you think? Or right away? How should one talk about it in general?
Well, if it's if you have like really a very minimum and for some reason you cannot go below, I don't know, I cannot imagine a reason. Maybe you have an apartment to rent to pay and it's really expensive, or I don't know. You can just bring it that way to again, I love when people are really honest and transparent. So it's if only you think that maybe your expectations are high, just say so at the very beginning, just to say that you don't want to make anyone lose time.
Right.
But if you're okay and your salary is negotiable, you can wait for the second interview.
So, next question. Has there been a candidate that impressed you, even though they may not have been very qualified for the job or vacancy? And we're talking about entry level. No candidate impressed you, no, even though they had no qualification. I guess no. Or did you feel that this candidate was deserving, even though they don't have maybe sufficient qualifications, like the bar was set too high for them? Has it ever happened to you?
Well, I usually do my sourcing pretty well, so they're all qualified for the vacancy when I meet them.
So that's perfect. So I guess none.
But I do have kind of I have a story that is it just came to me. It's not really about qualification, but I remember once it was the first interview I was doing as an HR for my previous company in the oil and gas.
Right.
And it's and just before that I was working in the insurance industry, so really strict. People were all wearing costume ties.
Right.
And that was my first interview in that industry, and the guy came. He was wearing jeans and like a regular jacket and stuff. He was okay, but he was wearing jeans. And I remember telling to my operation manager, like, what is this guy? He's coming for an interview wearing jeans. Is he serious? We're not going to take him seriously. And my manager told me, but if he were wearing a suit, that's the reason why we wouldn't have hired him, because he knows the code. He knows, and every business has its own code.
Right.
The way of speaking and also the way of dressing. Mm-hmm. And that was really a good lesson for me as a recruiter to say, this guy, he knew about the environment. going to. And
Working.
it's a bit like knowing, studying about the business, looking at the website. It's observing
Mm.
what the people look like.
Right. This was a joke for programmers. There was a picture of all these employees taking a picture together for maybe some training, and it said, "Find the programmer in this picture." Everyone's dressed in suit, even the women are dressed nicely, and there's this one guy with long hair, big beard, in a
Yeah.
t-shirt and bermudas and slippers. I found him. There's the engineer.
Yeah.
The engineers don't care. It's like we come here to work in a different, they're half artist, half crazy
Yeah.
scientist. So in some companies, when they try to enforce a suit on a programmer, they reject. It's like, no, we don't work that way. That's not our industry. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Look at Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates.
Yeah.
They dress their way they want, but it's a good thing to let people know, to understand, like you say, the word is a code of conduct in an environment.
Yeah.
So even though you might not have the qualifications, you may have the understanding of how the environment functions, and that might be good enough. Okay, last question for tonight. All right, I think also I'm past our bedtime, so I don't want to keep you up. Many young people, especially graduates, are facing a tough time getting an interview. What advice do you have for them? They're not able to get interviews. What would you advise them to do? Or be patient? Maybe, I don't know.
I would say, yeah, be patient and have tenacity. It's really a bad time, and we all know that. And even now, when I'm recruiting and I see gaps in CVs, I'm my view of that have changed. I'm not like, what is she doing? What is he doing? And also networking. And I don't remember the figures, but I know that networking last year was the number one way of finding people, of recruiting people.
Okay.
So yeah, networking, you never know. Someone may know someone who knows someone.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
This is how I've got my jobs in the
Yeah?
teaching field. Is when I applied, I got started at the American Business School. After that, I never really applied for a job. People would ask me, "Baber, you want to teach here?" I'm like, "Sure." And one teacher would take it, pass it on. Another teacher would pass it on to another dean, and voila, that's happened. So networking does help. Okay, Kanitha, those are all the questions. Once again, I know we have so much to catch up on. I swear to you, we should catch up on a lot of things, but I can hear your daughter. She's also, I think, demanding your attention.
She's
And
pretending to tough. Yeah.
yeah, yes. My kids are the same. My youngest son, he is a glue to my wife, like an otokoron. He's like this all the time, and he would demand it. And my wife showers him with a lot of adoration. She loves kids, right? But so kids are actually smarter than we think. Be careful.
Oh, they are.
They are. They're very.
She understands so much. Even now, she knows that I'm talking about her.
Oh yeah, she probably does. Well, she seems like a very intelligent young lady, and I think she's going to be growing up to make you very proud. I can see a wonderful future for you. I will pray for that as well. Kanitha, we should catch up sometime again. I will let you go for now, and I thank you again very much from the bottom of my heart. It was wonderful seeing you, and the state you're in.
It was a pleasure.